So when I was 14 years old, I will never forget going to the movies with my brother, my dad, and my uncle and seeing The Matrix for the first time and walking out of there thinking that like it just blew my mind from a game-changing perspective that cinema could do something new and unique and special. I wanted to ask each of you, because I had that experience when I was 14. What was that movie for you growing up? The movie that like was a game changer for you that maybe like blew your mind like The Matrix did for a lot of audiences?
Star Wars.
Yeah. What do you remember seeing? Do you remember who you were with, or do you remember seeing Star Wars? Do you remember like where you were?
Yeah, well, at first I remember seeing the trailer for Star Wars at the University Theater. It was big screen, and I was just like, as a young kid, what is that?
That's awesome.
And then seeing the movie, it was just like, whoosh, it was great.
That's cool. Carrie Ann, for you, do you remember a movie that blew your mind like that?
Yeah, what's coming to mind, I remember being with all my girlfriends watching Rocky.
Oh,
And like, we just started running, Eye of the Tiger, and just yeah, felt inspired by the story.
that's awesome. I was geeking out because I'm a big Chad Stahelski fan. It was cool to see him kind of in the movie, and I've always been following his work as a filmmaker now as well. One of my favorite scenes of all time, though, is the lobby scene from the first movie. I know we can't get into too many details about the new movie because they don't want to spoil anything, but what do you remember specifically about shooting that sequence? And like, because that scene to me will always be one of the greatest action scenes of all time.
Yeah, it was thrilling. It was thrilling. It was scary. It was fun. I remember the the day before. Was it the day before? It was like, okay, we have to go out. We have to go have a steak.
Yep.
We have to prepare. We have to get ready. We have to get ready and get some chi and go. And then had worked so hard for that one moment where Trinity goes up the wall and
Yeah.
Yes.
and
But I
just
didn't get it. I didn't get it.
You did
I
get it.
didn't get it.
you
I
did. You
had to
come
do
off
it.
the
I
wall.
had to do it in two. It was supposed to just be one. Okay.
Super
Sorry.
perfect, but you still rocked it.
That scene was it's incredible.
Love that
I want to
scene.
ask you both about this because growing up, obviously these films were not just entertaining, they were thought-provoking. And like I would walk away like thinking about life differently in certain aspects, and your perspective on life changes. I'm wondering for each of you how Neo maybe changed your perspective a little bit on life, and for you, for Trinity, for Carrie Ann, like did you feel that you like shifted a bit in terms of the way you thought in your own lives, but based on playing these characters?
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of had the Neo experience, the Thomas Anderson experience, in that, I felt something, but I couldn't put it into words. I felt, something was, not quite right, or a way to look at certain constructs, the way I was raised, the cultures, constructions around me, and working on the role and doing the film really kind of concretized a way for me to put it into context.
Wow, that's incredible. Carrie Ann, for you, did you have a similar experience where your life perspective shifted at all?
Yeah, I think it did a lot, and I think it still is, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think, playing that character too for me just it empowered me to go through all the different things that I needed to do to make that happen. And I feel like it changed me for sure.
Wow. Well, I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you very much for your time. They're wrapping me up. This has been an honor. As someone who saw the movie as a kid, this is truly an honor to talk to both of you. And thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for giving me a lifelong love of cinema. So appreciate it, guys.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I was 14 years old, I will never forget being with my dad and my brother and my uncle, seeing the first Matrix at AMC Hampton 24 in Hampton, Virginia, and walking out just feeling like I just experienced something so mind-blowing. And I wanted to ask each of you, aside from the Matrix, was there a film that did that for you growing up? I'm sure Matrix was a big one for you, but like I wonder, was there another movie that you walked out of and that was like a mind-blowing experience beyond anything I've ever seen before?
I'll tell you what it was, but to this day I cannot tell you why.
Huh.
But I remember what it was. It was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
With Sean Connery.
I have no idea. I don't remember the film. But it was, I don't, but it's strange, right? It was strange, but I saw that.
It's not like the 60s version, right?
No, I saw it sometime in like 99, in the
It was Sean
90s
Connery.
or early 2000s.
Oh.
I don't know,
Yeah.
90s or the early 2000s, but I saw that with my dad. That's like the only time I remember going to the movies with my dad. And don't remember much about the movie. I remember the color blue. I don't know, but that was just that movie blew my mind. I'm gonna go back and look at it, and maybe hopefully it's good. I don't know,
That's
but
hilarious. No, you should preserve it. Preserve it.
Yeah.
If you rewatch it and you're like, what? Then it's ruined.
that movie blew my mind. I don't know why, but
Wow.
but that's one I remember coming out of the movies. I'm like, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I appreciate that answer. It's really cool to hear that. Jonathan, for you?
Mine was, if I'm thinking like when I was a kid, the one that really blew my mind was when I was in second grade and I went to see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, starring Kevin Costner. And I remember calling my mom. My grandmother took my brother and I to see it, and I called my mom afterwards and said, "It's better than Home Alone. There's a movie that exists that's better than
Is
Home
that
Alone."
women in tights?
that was the bar.
That's
That was the
that's Men
it
in
was like
Tights.
That's Men in Tights,
Yeah.
which is
That's
also
that's
a
Robin Hood
comedy
Men in
one.
Tights.
Brilliant.
Yes, Robin
Oh,
Hood Men in
okay,
Tights.
okay, okay.
Also
The Kevin
brilliant.
Costner was like, "I can't tell you, it's not worth dying for."
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
Iconic. Men in Tights was like a parody version, which was
Right, yeah,
still
I like-
awesome,
I
by
was
the
a fan
way.
of
I like
That
Men in
was good
Tights.
too,
I like
yeah.
Men in Tights.
Yeah.
The I have a mole.
Jessica, for you?
I went to go see 2001: A Space Odyssey with a bunch of people. They all fell asleep, and I remember being so enraptured that I stood up out of the seat. I couldn't sit. I had to stand, and I was looking around, and I was like, no one's awake. Like the long ending sequence where he's
I
slowly.
haven't seen it. I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
What?
I know.
Oh, all right.
my
I'm
God,
not trying
well,
to
the
be that
ending
guy
is-
who's like, wait, you never seen that? You have to see that movie. It's
I
amazing.
know. I don't know why I haven't.
It's so intense. It's
Yeah.
so intense.
That's-
Yeah, I was
appreciate
like
you sharing.
sweating.
Yeah, that's awesome. Last thing I'll ask you is this. Yahya, when I last talked to you for Candyman, you couldn't talk about this. So I'm hoping we can talk about it now in terms of like the technology used in the first Matrix changed cinema forever. I mean, those cameras that were going off one by one as like Keanu was like going back. I was wondering for each of you, what was the coolest rig or a practical element that was there for you on set that you got to see in person that blew your mind?
Yeah, we worked with we had a scene with a camera rig where it was what was it, 6 cameras?
I think 8.
8 cameras, and they were all strapped together, and it required 2 cameramen to hold it, and but it was like handheld. It was, I don't even know what to say about that rig.
Yeah.
But we had a few scenes shot with it.
Yeah, that's the one that I probably didn't say something about way back when, because I didn't know what that would allude to, but it was some type of big camera with 8 cameras
It was something
in one,
Lana
and it was
had to
hanging
come
on the
up with.
rig, and when they press film, they let it sway like this, and
Yeah.
it was bizarre. It was really bizarre.
Yeah, I've never worked with anything like that.
But the effects of it was pretty cool when you see it in the film.
Mine was punching through a wall. I'd never punched through a wall before. And the first time I tried to do it, I went in at the wrong spot and my hand just stuck into the wall. It was like, whoa, okay, wait. And there was so much weird pressure, surprising pressure on those moments. I kicked you into a wall, and I didn't do it right, but you fell into the wall anyway.
No,
I didn't
you did it right.
really nail that moment, but with those things where they're building the actual, where it's not special effects, you have one chance.
Oh yeah.
So there was this wall I had to punch, and or with Yahya when he goes through the wall, and I was surprised. I thought, oh, this is all done later, but no, we're breaking it in real life.
Yeah.
As I remember when I was 14 years old, going with my dad and my brother and my uncle to see the first Matrix film in AMC in Hampton, Virginia, and walking out just like being blown away by what I just experienced. I was curious for you growing up outside of the Matrix, was there a film that gave you that similar experience where a movie you saw on the big screen, it just blew your mind and made you look at film differently?
Well, I would say Matrix was one of those, for sure. When, it made me think that it made my expectations from movies a lot higher. I wanted more, it pushed the bar. And I really think I'm a fan of technology, just to be able to see what could be achieved with technology in cinema. I remember that having a really, really visceral reaction on me. But I also did see the Titanic on big screen, and that I was shook. My eyeballs were like red, and I was really shook by that movie too.
Yeah, if you saw a video of me watching that film, I was definitely crying myself. That was an amazing. Every time I watched that movie now,
I had
amazing
someone
acting.
behind me go grab me tissues from the bathroom because I was crying so much in the movie theater.
That's a good person, by the way. That's really nice they did that. One thing I want to ask you is one of the cool things about these films is that while they're entertaining, they're also extremely thought-provoking. You walk out like thinking about life in a different way. Not that it changes everything, but it does make you think about things. I was curious, like after being in a Matrix film, did it shift at all perspectives that you had on certain things or anything in life?
Yeah, I think the one thing that I really thought about is, what is your personal matrix? Like, what are we doing with our choices that make our matrix complex to get out of or simple to live in? We're the center of our universes. So that really made me sort of start thinking about choices and how complex I want my life to be versus not.
One thing I really appreciate about you is obviously you're an amazing actor, but you're also a musician. You do tons of different amazing things. I was wondering, like when you play a role, considering you're a musician, do you think about the music that character would listen to? Do you have a music that helps you get into the character? Like, do you even think about that, or am I just kind of reaching on that?
No, you're not. I used to. I haven't done it for years, but I used to always make playlists for my characters that I would listen to while I was getting dressed. I haven't done it for the last couple of years because I've just been doing too much. But there are two things that I do. One is have a playlist for my character, which helps me get into the zone of, what my character would be thinking, or and the second, I have a scent for every character that I play. A perfume, because I feel like olfactory senses are so closely associated with memories. So it helps me really get back into character.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you're staying
you so
safe. I hope you
much.
have a good holidays, and thank you for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you for this.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.